In Naruto Reborn with a chat group chapter 141 to 160. As the flames engulfed the puddle, two ninjas suddenly burst out, screaming in agony. Their clothes were tattered, their skin charred black, and even their hair had been completely burned off. They looked more like roasted corpses than living shinobi. Ah, WHO did this. WHO used fire style. My skin, my hair, everything's burning. Ah, fire, fire, too hot, someone put me out. As the last embers flickered out, Kakashi flashed forward in an instant, appearing beside the two scorched men. Without hesitation, he clamped his hand around their throats, holding them in a vice grip. Kakashi asked, tightening his grip, "Talk. Why did you attack us?" But the two were completely out of their minds. Ha 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 ha. WHO unleashed the fire style. It's all burning. Burn, burn, burn. Even the wood, even the air. Ha ha. The mission failed. WHO did it. WHO turned the world into fire. Ha ha. Kakashi stared at them, his eyes narrowing dangerously. They're too far gone. Sighing, he quickly extracted whatever useful information he could before silencing them permanently with a swift slash of his kunai. Senju Tobarama. Judging by their headbands, they're from the hidden mist village. Senju Hashirama. Mist ninja. What are they doing here? And why would they target Makoto and his team? Hitaki Sakumo. There's no doubt about it. Something is definitely off about this mission. That old man, Tazuna, must be hiding something. Namikaze Minato. Exactly. Running into enemy ninja on a C-rank mission is practically unheard of. But now we have two mist shinobi attacking us. This mission isn't what it seems. This old man, Tazuna, looks suspicious. Maybe it's time to let him understand what true pain feels like. Uzumaki Kushina. Shut up, Minato. Uchiha Madara. Makoto, you already know what's going on, don't you? Yesterday, when you were in the Hokage's office, I noticed you had this incredibly evil look on your face. You definitely know something, right? Makoto Ito. Grandpa Madara. What do you mean by evil look? Don't you know, I'm the kindest person in the world. Uchiha Madara. So you do know what's going on. Makoto Ito. Hey, your instincts are sharp as always. You're right, Tazuna lied about the mission level, and he's going to pull something even more outrageous later. Ever heard of moral kidnapping? No, don't worry, you'll get a first-hand experience soon. Senju Hashirama. Moral kidnapping. What's that? Senju Tobarama. I think I get what you're saying. Hyuga Hazashi. How exactly do morals kidnap someone? Yuhi Shinku. Wait, are these morals you're talking about not the normal kind? Is it some kind of rope? Or maybe a special tool used to tie someone up? Hyuga Hazashi. Ropes. Props. What exactly are you implying, Shinku? Uchiha Shisui. Uncle Shinku. I don't think that's what Makoto meant at all. Uchiha Fugaku. Shinku, there is definitely something wrong with your brain. Makoto Ito. What the hell? How did we go from moral kidnapping to ropes and binding? Why are you guys getting weirder and weirder? Senju Hashirama. But seriously, what is moral kidnapping? Madara, Tobarama, you two should know something, right? Senju Tobarama. Shut up, big brother. I'm not wasting my energy explaining it to you. Didn't Makoto say we'd see it soon? Just watch and figure it out yourself. Uchiha Madara. TCH. You Uchiha hating bastard, you stole my line. Senju Tobarama. Shut up, you evil Uchiha. Uchiha Izuna. We're not evil, you are evil. Senju Tobarama. Izuna. Uchiha Izuna. Tobarama. At this moment, after dealing with the demon brothers, Kakashi turned around and fixed his gaze on Tazuna. There shouldn't be ninja battles in a C-rank mission. So, our dear client, care to explain whether they were targeting you or one of us? Upon hearing his words, Tazuna visibly tensed, but still tried to play dumb. What are you talking about? I don't understand a thing. I'm just an ordinary man, how would I know anything about ninjas? Look, those guys are gone now, so let's just keep moving, alright? Kakashi didn't buy it for a second. He continued to stare at Tazuna, his tone sharpening. This mission has clearly surpassed C rank. The moment enemy ninja got involved, it became a B rank mission. When we accepted this job, we were told to protect you from bandits and mercenaries, not trained ninja. Lying about a mission's details isn't just an inconvenience for us, it puts our lives on the line. So, Tazuna, do you have something to say? Naruto, still clueless about what was happening, scratched his head. Wait, what's going on? Makoto just threw out a crazy fire style, and then, those two guys jumped out, and now Kakashi-sensei's all serious. Meanwhile, Sakura had already realized this mission wasn't what they signed up for. Sasuke, on the other hand, said nothing. His eyes shifted between Kakashi and Makoto, waiting to see what Makoto would do next. Noticing that Tazuna was still trying to dodge the truth, Makoto let out a sigh and casually walked up to him. Without a word, he pulled out his sword from his waist and stabbed it lightly into the ground. Shink. Then, he pulled it out. Shink. And stabbed it again. The repeated sound of the blade scraping against the earth sent chills down Tazuna's spine. Makoto gave him a very polite smile. Old man, let me give you another piece of advice. He slowly turned the sword in his hand. Ninjas aren't so easy to fool. If you keep playing dumb, you might not get another chance to speak at all. Tazuna froze after seeing the smile on his face. More importantly, the ominous shink of the sword behind him made his whole body tremble in fear. Under Makoto's intimidation, Tazuna finally broke down and spilled everything: the construction of the bridge, how Gato had set his sights on the land of waves, and how he had hired rogue samurai and ninjas to eliminate anyone who stood in his way. He confessed everything, word for word, and the moment he finished, he collapsed to the ground, clutching his head as he sobbed. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed slightly. Gato, a name well known in the shinobi world. He was a wealthy and dangerous man, someone who wouldn't hesitate to use money to crush his enemies. Since you knew the enemy would send ninja after you, why did you lie about the mission rank? Kakashi asked, his tone unreadable. Tazuna, still squatting on the ground, continued sniffling, snot and tears running down his face. Because the land of waves is poor. Even our feudal lord barely has any money, let alone someone like me. His shoulders shook as he spoke. I couldn't afford a B rank mission or higher. So I had no choice but to register it as a C rank mission, hoping you'd still accept it, and help us. After listening to Tazuna's words, Kakashi turned to his team. Alright, what do you guys think? Should we continue this mission, or do we turn back? Makoto and Sasuke remained silent, both deep in thought. Naruto clenched his fists, his face full of excitement. He had trained hard to become a ninja, and this was his first real mission. He wasn't about to back down now. But Sakura felt panicked. This mission was clearly beyond what they were prepared for. Kakashi-sensei, we're not ready for something this dangerous. Let's just go back to the village and report this to Lord Hokage. She said hesitantly, forcing a nervous smile. The moment she finished speaking, Tazuna, still squatting on the ground, suddenly spoke up again. It's fine, really. If you want to cancel the mission, then go ahead. But I'll be dead before I even make it home. His voice wavered as he continued. Of course, my death won't matter to you. It's just that my poor 8-year-old granddaughter will cry her little heart out every day. And my daughter, oh, she'll never forgive Konoha's ninjas for abandoning her father. But no, it's okay. This definitely isn't your fault. Not at all. Kakashi let out a deep sigh, placing a hand on his forehead. Ah, here we go. It was clear from his expression that he was not expecting to deal with this level of drama today. Senju Hashirama. So this is the situation. They really are pitiful. Makoto, why not just help them? With your strength, it should be easy, right? Uchiha Madara. Shut up, you damn idiot. Why are you still so soft-hearted? This whole mess is Tazuna's fault. Lying about mission details puts ninjas' lives at risk. This is what Makoto was talking about. He is morally kidnapping you. Wake up to reality, Hashirama. Damn it, how can someone be this shameless? Not only is he guilt-tripping them, but he's even threatening the Leaf Ninja. Saying his daughter will hate them forever. Well, if she sees them as enemies, then she is an enemy. Better to nip the danger in the bud now. Senju Hashirama. Madara, don't be so angry. Besides, Tazuna had his reasons for hiding the mission details, right? Didn't he say he didn't have enough money? Senju Tobarama. Shut up, brother. For once, I actually agree with Madara. Not having money is not an excuse to lie about mission details. Brother, think about this: if Makoto and Kakashi weren't on this team, and instead a squad of Chunin had taken this mission, they could have been ambushed and killed. Would you still be making excuses for him if that happened? Senju Hashirama. I just, Hyuga Hazashi. Lord first, Lord second, Did you notice something else? He claims he has no money, but he sure had enough to buy plenty of alcohol. Yuhi Shinku. Exactly, he keeps saying he is broke, but somehow, he's got cash for all that wine. Something doesn't add up. Namikaze Minato. Who the hell cares if he dies? Why should it matter if his granddaughter cries? And so what if his daughter hates us for the rest of her life? Does he really think he can guilt trip us with his pain? Let me tell you something, it's useless. Because my pain is greater than yours. Uchiha Izuna. Makoto isn't actually going to fall for that guy's nonsense, right? It's obvious he's trying to guilt trip them with moral kidnapping. Makoto Ito. Ha ha ha, don't worry about that, he can only morally kidnap me if I have morals. But guess what, I don't have any, and honestly, I agree with Grandpa Madara. Since his daughter is going to hate Konoha, doesn't that mean she'll see us as enemies? In that case, wouldn't it be better to deal with that future threat right now? Uchiha Madara. Well said, Makoto. I'm starting to like you more and more. How about you kick Hiruzen out and let me be your sensei instead? Makoto Ito. Ha, no need for that. To be honest, my relationship with you grandpas and the others in this group is already no different from a teacher-student bond. After all, you've all passed down your knowledge and powers to me. In a way, I'm more of a student to you all than anyone else in this world. Uchiha Madara. Indeed, there's nothing wrong with what you said. Senju Hashirama. Oh, so I actually have another student. Nice. Ha 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 ha. That damn monkey Hiruzen has completely let me down, but Makoto, I have high hopes for you. Go on, hurry up and call me sensei. Makoto Ito. Sigh. Alright, fine. Sensei, sensei, sensei. Happy now. Senju Hashirama. Ha 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 ha. That's more like it. The group moderator, Senju Hashirama, has shared the technique wood style, wooden golem with the group leader, Makoto Ito. Makoto Ito. Grandpa first, I called you sensei a few times and you gave me a technique. Grandpa first, let's forget the teacher-student thing. If you're willing, I'd gladly be your adopted son. I'm ready to call you father right now. Bless your child, my great father. Senju Hashirama. But weren't you saying you want to marry Tsunade? If you call me father, won't that completely mess up the family hierarchy? Besides, it's just not right. Makoto Ito. Doesn't matter. We can figure out the details later. From now on, I'll call you father, Tsunade can call you grandpa or father-in-law or whatever she wants, and I'll call Tsunade babe. Now that's exciting. Senju Hashirama. Why do I feel like you're way more excited about the last part? Senju Tobarama. You're right, brother. This kid is a certified pervert. Uchiha Madara. Oi, kid. Handle the current situation first and put your degenerate thoughts aside. Kakashi thought for a moment, weighing his options before letting out a sigh. Well, I guess we have no choice. We'll protect you at least until you get back to the land of waves. The moment he said that, Tezuna's eyes lit up. He quickly bowed his head. Thank you so much. Konoha's ninjas really are the best. Wait a second. Makoto's voice cut through the conversation like a blade. Everyone turned to look at him, curious about what he had to say. Makoto crossed his arms and smirked. If I remember correctly, you just said that if you die, your daughter will hate the Leaf Ninjas for the rest of her life. In other words, your daughter will become our enemy, right? Tezuna felt a shiver run down his spine. The grin on Makoto's face sent a deep sense of unease creeping over him. Makoto turned to Kakashi and casually asked, Mr. Kakashi, how do we usually deal with our enemies? Kakashi knew exactly where this was going, but he answered anyway. Kill them, of course. Makoto nodded thoughtfully. Then, with the same easygoing smile, he turned back to Tezuna. So, since your daughter will be our enemy, wouldn't it be better to eliminate her now? Tezuna's face paled instantly after hearing his words. Makoto continued, his tone still disturbingly casual. Not only did you lie about the mission details, but it also looks like Gato is filthy rich. What if he hires ninjas way stronger than us? Even if we die protecting you, your daughter is going to hate us anyway. He shrugged. In that case, wouldn't it be smarter to nip the problem in the bud and just head back to the village? Tezuna never imagined that a child like Makoto could say something so cold and heartless. He had been sure that guilt-tripping these ninjas would work and that they'd protect him out of sympathy. But why isn't this kid falling for it? But if you kill her mother, and if I die, my 8-year-old granddaughter will be left all alone. She'll cry herself to sleep every night. She'll be an orphan. Makoto simply shook his head. His expression remained indifferent. Doesn't matter. I'll just reunite your family in the afterlife. Tazuna's blood ran cold. His body shrank back in terror. This isn't a ninja. This kid is a demon. Kakashi frowned slightly. He couldn't understand why Makoto was being so hostile toward their client. From his perspective, even if the mission was upgraded to A rank, Makoto alone would be more than enough to handle it. Sasuke was momentarily stunned, but as usual, he kept his emotions hidden. Naruto, however, immediately spoke up, his face full of confusion. Hey, Makoto, how can you say something like that? Tazuna's obviously in trouble, can't we just help him? Why are you so against him? Sakura nodded slightly, agreeing with Naruto's words. The next moment, Makoto pulled out his sword and asked a question. Naruto, what's your dream? Naruto blinked in confusion. Huh, why's he asking me about my dream all of a sudden? Weren't we just talking about Tazuna? Even though he was puzzled, he still answered without hesitation. Of course, my dream is to become Hokage. You already know that, Makoto. Hearing Naruto's response, Makoto smiled slightly and shook his head. Naruto, since you want to be Hokage, tell me, doesn't the Hokage have a responsibility to protect the ninjas of the village? Naruto nodded thoughtfully. Yeah, but what does that have to do with old man Tazuna? Makoto's gaze sharpened as he continued. The Hokage is the one who assigns missions. Ninjas complete these missions and receive rewards based on their difficulty. That's how the system works. He took a step forward. But what happens if everyone starts doing what Tazuna did? If people start lying about mission ranks, hiding crucial details, and sending ninja into unknown danger? Makoto's voice grew colder. If that happens, do you know what follows? Casualties. Endless casualties. Naruto's expression stiffened. Take today as an example, Makoto continued. If our team wasn't this strong, if Mr. Kakashi and I weren't here, and if another team had been sent instead, a team made up of 1 Chunin and 3 Genin, do you really think they would have survived against the enemies? They'd be dead, Naruto. Dead, all because of a lie. Naruto swallowed, his fists clenching. If you were Hokage, would you really allow that? Would you let your own ninja walk into death just because someone didn't want to pay the right price for protection? Makoto's eyes locked onto Naruto's. You want to be Hokage. I respect that, I support you, we're friends. But if you want that title, then you need to understand, rules exist for a reason. If you ignore them, people die. Naruto stood frozen, his brain struggling to fully process everything Makoto had just said. He wasn't the smartest, but he could understand one thing. Makoto was telling him that missions needed to be handled fairly for the sake of ninja safety. So, he thought to himself, the harder the job, the bigger the risk, and the bigger the risk, the more they need to pay. It was the first time he had ever thought about things from the Hokage's perspective. Thinking about it, Naruto realized that what Makoto said actually made sense. But something still felt off. Wait a minute, he thought, frowning slightly. Shouldn't I be the one convincing Makoto? How did things flip around and now he's the one convincing me instead? Senju Tobirama. That's right. Boy, why don't you just become the 5th Hokage? If you take the position, our village will definitely flourish. I swear, you already sound more competent than Hiruzen. Uzumaki Kushina. TCH. I still don't understand what's so great about being Hokage. When I was a kid, I kept saying I wanted to be Hokage like some big idiot. Then Minato actually became Hokage. And now my Naruto is the same. First me, then Minato, and now Naruto. This must be some kind of curse. Tazuna listened to Makoto's words, his entire body drenched in cold sweat. His hands trembled as he stared at the boy in disbelief. Why, you're just a child. How can you say something so cold? I'm already suffering so much. Can't you have even a little sympathy for me? Makoto shot him a sharp, icy glare. Shut up. Did I give you permission to speak? You lied about the mission details, which means I have every right to kill you. The only reason you're still breathing is because I haven't bothered to do it. So instead of whining, maybe you should be grateful. Tazuna froze upon hearing his words. His face turned pale, and this time, he really didn't dare to say another word. Kakashi sighed, scratching the back of his head before turning to Makoto. All right, Makoto, what do you suggest we do? Should we cancel the mission and go back to the village, or should we at least escort Tazuna to the land of waves before deciding? Makoto shook his head. Do whatever you want. I don't really care, but if this mission is going to continue, then the rank needs to be adjusted properly. And more importantly, Tazuna has to pay up. He crossed his arms. I'm not doing a B rank or higher mission while getting paid C rank wages. Do I look like an idiot? I'm not some naive fool like Naruto who's easy to trick. Hearing his words, Naruto jumped up in protest. Oi, Makoto, who are you calling a fool? I'm not stupid. I'm actually really smart, believe it. Sasuke sighed and shook his head at Naruto's actions. Idiot. Meanwhile, Kakashi nodded at Makoto's words and turned his attention back to Tazuna. Mr. Tazuna, as you can see, this mission has far exceeded the scope of what we originally accepted. So, we have two options. We can end the mission right now, or you can officially upgrade it to B rank. Of course, that means you'll need to pay the proper commission. Hearing this, Tazuna snapped back to his senses, his face breaking into a nervous, desperate smile. No problem at all. I'll pay for a B rank mission, just please don't abandon me. I beg you. Kakashi's lips curled into an amusing smile. Sometimes, it really does take a villain to deal with a villain. Just moments ago, Tazuna had been guilt-tripping them with sob stories and trying to play the victim. But the second he was confronted by Makoto's merciless reasoning, he folded immediately. Still, while Makoto's approach worked this time, Kakashi knew he needed to adjust his mentality. Tazuna was now completely out of options and could only apologize repeatedly and swear he would pay the B-rank commission. He begged them to continue protecting him until the bridge was completed. With that, the group got ready to set off once again toward the Land of Waves after making their final preparations. Kakashi adjusted his gear and looked at his team. Alright, let's move out. Time to complete our B-rank mission. Hearing this, Naruto leapt into the air, pumping his fist. Awesome, I never thought my first mission outside the village would be B rank. The Land of Waves, here I come. Uchiha Madara. TCH. Kid, I'm telling you, you're still too soft-hearted. Wouldn't it have been easier to just stab him and be done with it? Senju Hashirama. Madara, your anger issues are out of control again. Uchiha Madara. HMPH. Namikaze Minato. There's no need to kill him, just make him feel the pain. Senju Hashirama. Minato, even you. Sigh. Senju Tobarama. Well, since the mission rank has been upgraded and the payment increased, it's better to just finish the job. Now that we actually know what we're dealing with, we should see it through to the end. With their mission upgraded to B rank, Team 7, along with Makoto and Tazuna, continued their journey to the Land of Waves. Fortunately, they encountered no dangers along the way. Eventually, they reached the coastline, where they boarded a small boat that ferried them across the waters. As they landed in the Land of Waves, their eyes fell upon the unfinished bridge stretching over the ocean. Kakashi remained alert, his single visible eye scanning the surroundings. If an enemy attack was going to happen, now would be the perfect time. Makoto also sharpened his senses. He already knew what was coming next. Zabuza and Haku should be making their move soon. Ever since awakening his Mangekyo Sharingan and obtaining Koto Amatsukami, Makoto had been carefully plotting his future moves. And now, everything was falling into place. Zabuza was undoubtedly a skilled ninja who could be controlled with Koto Amatsukami, and the best part was that it was a buy one get one free deal. If Zabuza pledged loyalty, then Haku would naturally follow. That meant a single use of Koto Amatsukami could secure 2 elite ninja under his command. Zabuza was a man who could go evenly against Kakashi, infamous copy ninja. On top of that, Haku possessed the Ice Release, a rare and powerful Kekkei Genkai. As they stepped onto the shore, everyone remained alert. They all knew an attack could come at any moment. Naruto scanned his surroundings, eyes darting left and right, then suddenly, he pointed ahead. There. Without hesitation, he threw a kunai straight ahead. Kakashi froze for a moment, then let out a sigh of relief. Makoto didn't react at all, while Sasuke immediately tensed, thinking there was a real threat. Then, in the next moment, they saw it, a small, white rabbit, trembling in the grass, its fur barely grazed by Naruto's kunai. Sakura and Sasuke both exhaled in relief. What the heck, Naruto? It was just a rabbit. But Kakashi felt something was wrong. Kakashi's gaze hardened as he stared at the snow-white rabbit. His instincts had been on edge ever since they arrived. He had felt someone watching them from the shadows. And now, he understood why. Something was wrong with this rabbit. The fur color was unnatural. Snow rabbits only turn white during winter when there's little daylight. But this wasn't winter. That meant the rabbit had been raised indoors, away from sunlight, a clear sign that it was being used as a substitution target. Kakashi's body tensed as he thought, so, they are here already. Somewhere in the shadows, Zabuza was watching, silently observing his targets. Uchiha Madara. Kid, looks like you're in danger again. This time, it's a slightly stronger piece of trash. It might be a problem for others, but it'll be a walk in the park for you. Makoto. Grandpa Madara, so even you think he's strong. Perfect, he'll be my first subordinate. Uchiha Madara. HMPH. A stronger piece of trash is still just trash. One punch should be enough to deal with him. Senju Tobirama. Madara, save the flexing for later. But Makoto, what do you mean by subordinate? Also, do you already know who the enemy is? Uchiha Shisui. Lord Second, I think Makoto is planning to use Koto Amatsukami on the enemy and bring him under his control. Makoto. Bingo. My Koto Amatsukami doesn't have some ridiculous years-long cooldown, after all. Besides, cage-level ninjas aren't easy to come across. Controlling a few elite jonin is much more practical. Just imagine it, a personal squad of elite jonin follows me wherever I go, wouldn't that be amazing? Hyuga Hazashi. Koto Amatsukami is terrifying. The enemy hasn't even appeared yet, and you're already considering him your subordinate. Makoto. And the best part is, I can use it every few months. Uncle Hazashi, if you don't approve of me and Hinata being together in the future, I might just use Koto Amatsukami on you and let you reunite with your brother to fulfill your greatest wish. Hyuga Hazashi. What the hell did you just say? You dare threaten me? Fine. If you're going to use Koto Amatsukami on me, then do it. But I will never accept you being with my niece. Ever. Even if you use it on my brother to get his approval, I still won't agree. Makoto. Uncle Hazashi, what do you mean? Why would I ever use Koto Amatsukami on my future father-in-law? Wait. Don't tell me. Uchiha Izuna. Oh, he's saying there's no need to use it on him. Since he willingly gave up his life for his brother, he's indirectly suggesting it would be way more effective to use it on his brother instead. Senju Tobirama. Damn, I never thought Hazashi would be. Uchiha Fugaku. This is why I keep saying Hazashi is the biggest joke among us all. Hyuga Hazashi. Fuck you, Fugaku. And Master Izuna, what did I ever do to you? Why are you twisting my words? I was obviously saying that even if Makoto used Koto Amatsukami on my brother to gain his approval, I would still never agree. Makoto. Relax, Uncle Hazashi. We obviously didn't believe Izuna's words. But, why are you so desperate to explain yourself? Uchiha Madara. That's right. Only those with a guilty conscience over-explain to make themselves sound innocent. Senju Tobirama. And how could he possibly stay calm when his deepest secret has been exposed? Uchiha Izuna. Oh, so that's how it is. Namikaze Minato. Oh, so that's how it is. Uchiha Fugaku. Oh, so that's how it is. Senju Hashirama. Oh, so that's how it is. Hyuga Hazashi. That's enough. Please, someone stop them. Uzumaki Kushina. HMPH. A bunch of perverts. Uchiha Makoto. Agreed. They're all just a bunch of perverted old men. Kushina, we're the only pure ones here. Uchiha Fugaku. Makoto, I didn't even say anything just now. Uchiha Makoto. Oh, then why don't you clearly explain your relationship with Minato? Otherwise, don't even think about coming home tonight. Uchiha Fugaku. Then I just won't go back. Uchiha Makoto. Fugaku, what did you just say? There really is something going on between you two, isn't there? Uchiha Fugaku. HMPH. Namikaze Minato. Kushina. Fugaku just invited me to go out and have some fun tonight, so I won't be coming home either. Uzumaki Kushina. Minato. Today, you're going to experience true pain. Adamantine ceiling chains. Namikaze Minato. Meanwhile, back in the real world, Zabuza stood atop a tree and narrowed his eyes as he locked onto Kakashi. The other brats, including Makoto, weren't even worth acknowledging. In his mind, there was only one worthy opponent. Hey, now I get it. No wonder the Demon Brothers failed their mission. I should have known. His eyes gleamed with recognition. The infamous copy ninja of Konoha. Kakashi. Looks like I'll finally get to see if your reputation is real. Kakashi's body tensed as he felt a sudden surge of chakra. His instinct screamed at him. Everyone, get down, now. A powerful gust of wind blasted through the air. The team turned just in time to see a massive spinning object tearing through the sky toward them. Sasuke reacted instantly, grabbing Tazuna and pushing him to the ground. Seeing Naruto standing there like an idiot, Sakura tackled him down before he could get sliced in half. Makoto, on the other hand, vanished from the sport. With a flicker of movement, he reappeared midair, just as the massive object came closer. Then, Makoto's hand gripped the handle of the spinning weapon, Executioner's Blade. Using its momentum, he spun twice in midair before landing smoothly on the ground, sword still in hand. Zabuza stood frozen, completely dumbfounded. He was supposed to make a dramatic entrance, intimidate the copy ninja and stand there like a badass. So why the hell was his sword in that brat's hands? Zabuza's eye twitched as he slowly turned his gaze toward Makoto, who was now holding his sword like it belonged to him. His grip tightened, veins bulging in frustration. "TCH, you little punk." His voice was low, seething with irritation. "You completely ruined my entrance. You know how hard it is to get a proper reputation as the demon of the mist." He exhaled sharply, trying to suppress his growing anger. "And now that he got my damn sword, how the hell am I supposed to fight?" Welcome to Fanfic Audiobook, your go-to place for immersive audiobooks. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. Uchiha Madara. Ha 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 ha, this is hilarious. That guy was trying so hard to make a dramatic entrance and Makoto just snatched his sword away like it was nothing. Ha 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 ha, might die. Wait a second. That sword looks kinda familiar. I swear I've seen it before somewhere. But when? Where? Damn it, I can't remember. My youth is failing me. Hitaki Sakumo, seriously, that's the Executioner's Blade from the Hidden Mist. It's one of the 7 swords of the mist. Might die. Yes, that's where I've seen it. It turns out to be youth. Hitaki Sakumo. What the hell? What youth? That's the Executioner's Blade. It's one of the 7 swords. That thing has nothing to do with youth. Yuhi Shinku. Wait, so our enemy is one of the 7 ninja swordsmen? That sounds like a tough opponent. Uchiha Madara. More like 7 ninja trash men. Uchiha Izuna. Tough opponent. In what way does he look tough? Senju Tobarama. Shinku, have you already forgotten Makoto's current strength? Uchiha Shisui. Not to mention, this guy has already been marked by Makoto as his subordinate. Yuhi Shinku. My bad, I didn't think it through. But for me, he'd definitely be a tough opponent. Zabuza was going through a serious crisis. His Executioner's Blade had not embedded itself into a tree as he expected. Instead, it had been snatched away by a mere brat. His grand entrance and intimidating presence was completely gone. Damn it, even without my sword, I still need to make an entrance. In the blink of an eye, Zabuza vanished, his body flickering like a shadow. Before anyone could react, he reappeared in front of them, standing tall, his intense killing intent washing over the entire battlefield. Zabuza stood tall, his arms crossed, his sharp eyes locked onto Kakashi. Konoha's copy ninja, Kakashi Hitaki. His voice was low, rough, and filled with menace. I've heard plenty about you. No wonder those weaklings failed their mission. Looks like they ran into a real problem. As soon as Zabuza appeared, Kakashi's attitude changed instantly. His usual lazy attitude was gone and his single visible eye was now sharp and focused. So it's him, a truly dangerous opponent. Kakashi recognized him instantly. Zabuza, one of the infamous 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist and the second wielder of the Executioner's Blade. He got the nickname, Demon of the Hidden Mist, a master of water release and silent killing techniques. But more importantly, he was a rogue ninja. Without hesitation, Kakashi stepped forward, shielding Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Tazuna behind him. I never expected to encounter one of the 7 ninja swordsmen on this mission, the Demon of the Hidden Mist, Zabuza. Sasuke and Sakura tensed after hearing his words. For someone like Kakashi, an elite jonin, to acknowledge Zabuza as a true threat, meant this wasn't just any enemy. But Naruto, as usual, remained completely oblivious. His fists clenched, his voice full of defiance. Oi, bandage face, who the hell are you? And are you the one who threw that huge sword at us? Naruto pointed aggressively at Zabuza. Coward, you think you can just attack us like that and get away with it? Without waiting for an answer, Naruto charged forward. But before he could take 2 steps, Kakashi grabbed him by the collar, stopping him instantly. This guy is nothing like the ones we faced before. You rush in, and you'll die. Meanwhile, Makoto stood off to the side, casually holding Executioner's blade in one hand. His eyes curiously scanned Zabuza from head to toe. After all, he had only seen this guy in the anime. The man who overpowered Kakashi with water clones, punched Sasuke across the battlefield and kicked Naruto straight into a tree. If Zabuza had pulled this off 10 years later, his reputation would have shaken the entire world. Uchiha Madara, aren't they the same group who got their asses handed to them by Might Dai and ran for their lives? Uchiha Izuna, that's them. Senju Tobirama, why is Kakashi making such a fuss over this guy? With his strength, he could handle him just fine, even without Makoto's help. If it were me, I'd just drown him with a water-style technique. Ito Makoto, Grandpa Second, isn't water-style your strongest chakra nature? Senju Tobirama, that's right. Don't you already know that? Ito Makoto, then why are you the Hokage? Shouldn't you be the Mizukage instead? Senju Tobirama, Ito Makoto, now that I think about it, the Hokages are kinda weird. The title, Hokage, literally means fire shadow, but let's look at the facts. Grandpa First specializes in wood style. Grandpa Second specializes in water style. My sensei uses all the chakra nature, so he's at least a bit more normal. And then we have Minato, who's known for his flying thunder god. By this logic, my sensei is the only one who actually uses fire style consistently. He might just be the most fitting Hokage of them all. Hyuga Hazashi. Now that I think about it, there really doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that logic. Yuhi Shinku. Yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense. Senju Hashirama. Well, there's a reason for that. When Madara and I founded the village together, we each named different aspects of it. Madara named the village after my wood style, which is why it's called the village hidden in the leaves. As for me, I named the leader of the village after the fire style that Madara specialized in, which is why our village's cage is called the Hokage, the fire shadow. Originally, I wanted Madara to be the first Hokage, but during the vote, the people chose me instead, so I had no choice but to take the position. I still wanted Madara to be the second Hokage, but well, we all know how that turned out. Namikaze Minato. So that's how it was. I never knew Konoha and Hokage had such a backstory. Hyuga Hazashi. To think the village's leader title was actually named after Madara's fire style, that's surprising. Senju Tobirama. Honestly, I miss the early days of Konoha. Back then, our village was undoubtedly the strongest in the world. Whether it was civilians or shinobi, no one from any other nation dared to insult or disrespect Konoha. Our presence alone commanded fear and respect. But now, Konoha has fallen so far that even the 7 ninja trash men think they can openly go after our ninjas without fear of consequences. It's honestly pathetic. Uchiha Madara. That's exactly why I've always said, only through strength can you earn respect and fear. Hashirama's so-called love and peace is nothing but an illusion. Ito Makoto. That's absolutely right, Grandpa Madara. I couldn't agree more. The foundation of a strong nation is built on vast lands and undeniable power. I would rather bear the infamy for a lifetime if it means my descendants can live in prosperity for generations to come. The present may call it a crime, but history will see it as a great achievement. Back when you guys first established Konoha, we had the god of Shinobi and the ghost of the Uchiha standing side by side. That's why no other village dared to provoke us. And the so-called 5-Cage Summit is nothing more than a glorified meeting where a few countries agree to sit down and talk only because they fear war with us. Why do you think they even bothered negotiating with Konoha in the first place? Because we were the strongest. Whoever has the power sets the rules and whoever leads the meeting is the true overlord. And yet, despite all that strength, despite all that power, Grandpa First actually bowed his head and begged for peace. Uchiha Madara. Enough, stop talking. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. How the hell did Tobirama end up as the Hokage's guard? He actually let his older brother kneel down in front of the 5-Cage conference. If I had been there, I would have told them, for the sake of peace, you should all bow down to me. Senju Tobirama. Shut up, you damn Uchiha. You think I wanted my brother to do that? You know how he is. It's not like he ever listens to me when it comes to these things. Ito Makoto. In my opinion, strength is the only foundation of justice. True diplomacy comes from power. Dignity exists at the edge of a sword and the truth only exists within the range of ninjutsu. Senju Tobarama. I never expected to hear such wise words from a shameless brat like you. Uchiha Madara. Ha 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 ha, kid, I completely approve of you. Dignity exists on the edge of the sword. The truth is only within the range of ninjutsu. Interesting. Kid, what you said is exactly what I've always wanted to do. Just go ahead and do it. Senju Hashirama. I get it, I get it. I made some dumb decisions before, okay. Do you guys really need to keep rubbing it in? Besides, my views have changed. Namikaze Minato. I have to agree with Makoto. But before we can truly bring peace to the world, we must first make them feel pain. Because those who have never experienced pain, will never cherish peace. First, we make everyone in the world suffer. Only then will they truly value the peace they once took for granted. Moreover, my pain is greater than theirs. Uchiha Izuna. Uchiha Madara. Something feels off. Senju Hashirama. Yeah, I feel like something's missing too. Senju Tobarama. It must be that Kushina didn't beat Minato today, right? Senju Hashirama. That's it. Why hasn't Kushina beaten Minato yet? Uzumaki Kushina. TCH. Will you guys shut up already? Minato can do wherever he wants. I'm busy chatting with Grandma Mito and Makoto. Uchiha Makoto. Exactly, who cares about a bunch of perverts? Grandma Mito is even teaching me her 100 healings mark. This is way better than dealing with all of you psychos. Uzumaki Mito. Why are you wasting time chatting with them? Makoto. Less talking, more learning. Back in the real world, Kakashi slowly reached for his headband, his fingers pulling it up to reveal his left eye, the Sharingan. His usual laid-back demeanor was gone. Now, he was in battle mode. Zabuza instinctively reached for his sword, only to remember that it was still in Makoto's hands. His eyes twitched in annoyance. Damn it, trying to cover up the awkwardness, he cracked his knuckles and let out a low chuckle. So, you're finally showing me your Sharingan, huh? If you hadn't, I would have thought you were underestimating me. Hearing Zabuza's words, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all turned their eyes to Kakashi. Sharingan, what, how does Kakashi have my clan's dojutsu? Sasuke's eyes widened in shock and a series of questions formed in his mind. Naruto, as usual, had his own way of thinking. He squinted at Kakashi's eye. Whoa, it really is a Sharingan. But Kakashi-sensei's has 3 tomo and Sasuke's only has 2. He scratched his head, thinking hard. Wait, does that mean Kakashi-sensei's Sharingan got upgraded? Sasuke's lips twitched upon hearing his words. It's called evolution, you idiot. Naruto blinked in confusion. But Sasuke, I remember Makoto saying the Sharingan is Uchiha clan's Kekkei Genkai. So why does Kakashi-sensei have one? Is Kakashi-sensei secretly an Uchiha? Idiot, Kakashi's surname is Hitaki. How could he be an Uchiha? Sasuke sighed, shaking his head. Naruto suddenly had a look of realization. I got it, that must mean he's actually Kakashi Uchiha Hitaki. Shut up, you absolute moron. As you lot can tell, my cover got taken down again. I can't upload a new one until Monday, apparently. Honestly, I'm so done with this nonsense. The Hinata bath towel one was lewd, sure, but there are others with the exact same kind of cover that have been up for months without a single issue. The latest one was fully dressed, not even a hint of skin showing, and it still got flagged. It's obvious this isn't just readers reporting stuff. Someone's doing this on purpose. There are a few people I'm seriously suspicious of, actually, scratch that, I'm certain it's them. But I'm not gonna start pointing fingers. No point stirring the pot and making the fanfic section even more toxic than it already is. Yesterday, a top-ranked Naruto fanfic got taken down. And just last week, one based on Tokyo Ghoul and another on High School DxD, both doing really well in the rankings, also got deleted. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even be shocked if mine just disappeared overnight while I'm asleep. Anyway, I'm gonna stop posting bonus chapters for a while. Also, let's try to stay out of the top 15 or even top 25 in the Power Stone rankings. It's just way too stressful being up there, constantly on edge, wondering when the story will get deleted and trying to figure out who's behind it all. I'd much rather chill at the lower end of the rankings with the people who actually like reading this book. Peace out. After getting yelled at, Naruto finally shut his mouth, though he still looked confused. Meanwhile, Sasuke was still in shock. How does Kakashi have Sharingan? He's obviously not an Uchiha. So why does he have it? And more importantly, it's already a fully matured 3-tomo Sharingan. Sasuke's fists clenched slightly. As a pure-blooded Uchiha, I only have 2 tomo. I only awakened the 2nd tomo because of that stupid Naruto scaring me. His teeth gritted in frustration. So how the hell does Kakashi have 3 tomo Sharingan? Kakashi paid no attention to Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura's reactions. However, what did catch his eye was Makoto's expression. Unlike the others, who were clearly shocked, Makoto remained completely calm as if he had known about Kakashi's Sharingan all along. Kakashi narrowed his eyes slightly. Did Lord Hokage tell him? That was the only explanation that made sense, and there was no time to dwell on it any further. Kakashi locked eyes with Zabuza, fully prepared to fight. But just as he was about to make a move, a massive blade suddenly plunged into the ground right in front of him. Kakashi-sensei, take a break and hold onto my sword for me, would you? Makoto said casually, not even looking back. As for Zabuza, I think I'll test him out first. I never really had the chance to fight a serious opponent back in our village. A Mist Village Elite Jonin, sounds like a decent challenge, don't you think? He glanced back at Kakashi with a confident grin. Kakashi didn't have a problem with Makoto stepping in to fight Zabuza. But still, he couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. He had just gotten serious, even revealed his Sharingan, planning to show off his real strength to his students. But now, he was being told to babysit a sword. It was not even Makoto's sword, but he was acting like it was his all along. Kakashi sighed, scratching the back of his head before returning to his usual lazy self. He glanced at the massive sword now lodged in the ground beside him. He had a solid grasp of Makoto's strength. With him standing by, even if things went south, he'd be ready to step in. After Makoto tossed the executioner's blade in front of Kakashi, he dashed straight at Zabuza. Alright, let's do this. Zabuza's eye twitched as he saw Makoto rushing towards him. This little brat, this kid is actually charging at me. His irritation flared, and his grip tightened into fists. Kakashi, are you mocking me? His deep voice rumbled with anger. You're seriously sending a brat to fight me? Fine, I'll take care of this little punk first. Then I'll deal with you, damn copy ninja. Senju Tobirama. Now that I think about it, why is he called the copy ninja? Uchiha Izuna. Does he just use the Sharingan to copy techniques? Senju Hashirama. Wait, so he actually needs to copy other people's jutsu to fight? Uchiha Madara. Shut up, you idiot. He has the Sharingan, so of course he's going to use it to his advantage. Might die. Forget about that. Makoto has already charged in. His youth is overflowing. He's going to defeat that. Opening square bracket ... Wait, who is he fighting again? Uchiha Madara, Senju Tobirama, Hitaki Sakumo, Zabuza. Your sword's not bad, I think I'll take it. Kid, quit acting tough. You really think I won't cut you down? Zabuza instinctively reached for his sword, only to realize it had been tossed away by Makoto and was now lying near Kakashi. TCH, damn it. Even without my sword, taking down a brat like you is a piece of cake. With that, he quickly formed hand seals. A thick, heavy fog rolled in out of nowhere, completely obscuring everyone's vision, and Zabuza vanished into the mist. Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto immediately formed a defensive triangle around Tazuna. At the same time, Kakashi used the body flicker technique to appear beside them, staying on high alert. Meanwhile, Makoto stood at the edge of the mist, smirking. You really think a little fog is gonna slow me down? Time to show off one of the jutsus I created in my free time. He clapped his hands together, not even bothering with proper seals. Wind style. Tornado clears up the mosquito spray. Makoto had no idea what hand seals he just made. Ever since the chat group confirmed he was cage level, he had discovered something ridiculous. He was basically Hashirama 2.0. As long as he had an idea, as long as he could control his chakra flow, and shouted the jutsu name out loud, it would just work. With a few random hand seals, Makoto took a deep breath, and then, from his mouth, a massive tornado erupted, spiraling outward with terrifying force. This kind of power, it's practically a forbidden technique. The moment Kakashi saw Makoto weaving hand signs, he activated his Sharingan, instantly copying the hand seals. Damn, this is bad. He could feel how much chakra the technique required. If he actually tried to cast it, half his chakra would be gone in an instant. How the hell does he have this much chakra? Just how much is packed into his body for him to throw around jutsu like this so casually? Is he actually an Uzumaki? No, the hair color doesn't match. Then, a Senju. That would make sense. Kakashi narrowed his eyes. Now that I think about it, I've heard that Makoto has ties to the Senju. If that's true, then there's no mystery here. This kid's most likely a Senju descendant. Just like that, the tornado kept growing, tearing through the mist and clearing the entire battlefield. With the fog completely gone, everyone could finally see each other again. And more importantly, they could see Zabuza. At this moment, the demon of the mist was crouching low, sneaking toward Kakashi like a thief, his eyes glued to his executioner's blade lying nearby. Makoto smirked after seeing his action. Oi, Zabuza, where do you think you're going? Your opponent is right here. Damn you, brat, Zabuza cursed, his eyes widening at the destruction caused by Makoto's attack. The name of the technique might have been weird, but there was no denying its power. The destruction it caused was far beyond anything he had expected. Makoto, on the other hand, stood there calmly, watching him. He didn't even look tired after pulling off such a devastating move. This only made Zabuza even more uneasy. HMPH, he's bluffing. There's no way he's not exhausted after something like that. With that thought, Zabuza used the body flicker technique, closing the distance in an instant. His executioner's blade had been snatched away, so he had to rely on a kunai instead. But Makoto wasn't about to let him get close. Without hesitation, he unleashed a relentless barrage of attacks, one after another. Fire style, majestic destroyer flame. Fire style, great fireball technique. Fire style, fire dragon bullet. Each technique was ridiculously strong, their intensity rivaling the first attack he had launched. Zabuza gritted his teeth. These were just C rank and B rank jutsu, but when Makoto used them, they felt like forbidden techniques. Dodging non-stop, Zabuza could feel himself wearing down. However, he knew full well that his water-style techniques wouldn't stand a chance against fire style of this scale. Uchiha Madara. Kid, how long are you going to drag this out? If it were me, I'd have just used Susanoo and sliced him in half already. Senju Hashirama. Makoto, didn't I give you the wooden golem technique? Just summon it and smack him away with its giant palms. Easy. Senju Tobarama. Are you fighting a battle or chasing a chicken? Use the water-style techniques I gave you and drown him to death already. Namikaze Minato. Rasengan is the way to go. Let him feel the pain. Makoto. Didn't I tell you all that this guy is going to be my subordinate? If I go all out, he'll be dead in no time. Elite Jonin worth recruiting don't come around often. Killing him would be such a waste. Outside the battlefield, thick smoke billowed into the sky, rising from the countless jutsu Makoto had unleashed. Kakashi and the others had no choice but to keep retreating, putting as much distance as possible between themselves and the battlefield. Kakashi stared at the raging flames and instinctively swallowed his saliva. Makoto's chakra reserves were just absurd. If he himself attempted jutsu of this scale, he'd be out of chakra after maybe 2 attacks. Does this kid have unlimited chakra or something? Kakashi wondered. There's not even a hint of exhaustion on his face. Just how much chakra does he have? Meanwhile, Zabuza's frustration was reaching its peak. Kid, is ninjutsu all you know? Do you dare to fight me in close combat? Makoto's lips curled into a smirk. This guy was really digging his own grave. After all, he had Madara's combat experience. I suppose it's time to put it to use. Zabuza, let's dance, shall we? You little, are you mocking me? With that, both of them stopped using ninjutsu and engaged in pure taijutsu combat. The very moment they clashed, Zabuza's expression shifted into one of shock. Up until now, he thought Makoto was just a kid with a monstrous chakra pool and an arsenal of overpowered jutsu. But how the hell is he this skilled in taijutsu too? Makoto wasn't just fast, his strikes were sharp, efficient, and almost impossible to counter. Zabuza was an elite jonin. He had fought for years, survived countless battles, and yet, in hand-to-hand combat, he was getting completely suppressed. And worst of all, it was like Makoto knew exactly what he was going to do before he even did it. After a while, Zabuza was in agony. His entire body ached from the relentless beating he was taking. No matter how he tried to counter, Makoto outclassed him in every way: speed, power, technique, and even battle experience. Zabuza refused to accept it. He had been fighting since he was a child, carving his way through the Blood Mist village, surviving where countless others had fallen. He wasn't just some ordinary shinobi. He was one of Mist Village's strongest. But now, he was getting completely outmatched by a kid. HMPH, are you truly one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist? If you're all like this, then I'm disappointed. Is this pathetic display supposed to entertain me? TCH, at least try to make it interesting. Uchiha Madara. Ha, good, I give you full marks for this performance. It's rare to see someone put on such a fine show. Senju Hashirama. Now that I think about it, Madara really does look like he's dancing when he fights. It's always so mesmerizing to watch. Namikaze Minato. Makoto, why aren't you using Rasengan? Just hit him already and make him feel the pain. After all, my pain is greater than his. Uzumaki Kushina. Minato, shut up. Do you start feeling restless if I don't spank you for a single day? Adamantine ceiling chains. Namikaze Minato. And no. Ah, Kushina. Wait, my pain. Ah, my pain is greater than yours. Senju Tobarama. Why do I get the feeling Minato actually enjoys getting smacked around by Kushina? Hyuga Hazashi. You know, I've had the same thought for a while now. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing it intentionally just so he can get spanked. Yuhi Shinku. Now that you mention it, he does sound kinda excited every time she beats him up. Uchiha Shisui. Wait, does Uncle Minato have some kind of weird fetish? Uchiha Madara. TCH. And here I thought he was the only normal one in the damn village, turns out he's just as weird as the rest of you. Makoto Ito. Tisk, tisk. You single grandpas and uncles wouldn't understand. It's just a little fun between the two of them. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Yuhi Shinku. Oi, hold on. I'm not single, I have a wife. Where do you think my daughter came from? Hyuga Hazashi. Same here. I have a wife and a son. Senju Tobarama. Makoto Ito. Grandpa Tobarama, no need to explain. We get it, you have a wife too. No need to be shy. Senju Tobarama. The hell are you talking about? I was just about to say I'm actually single. Makoto Ito. No. Have you forgotten about Izuna? Take a look at his nickname. Uchiha Izuna. Ha, what does this have to do with me? A second later, everyone turned their attention to Izuna's nickname. Tobarama's little wife. Seeing the perfect opportunity to mess with his rival, Tobarama smirked. Senju Tobarama. Damn it, my head is killing me. I think I drank too much last night. Uchiha Izuna. And, what the hell is that supposed to mean, Tobarama? Do you want me to make you some hangover soup or something? Makoto Ito. Hyuga Hazashi. Yuhi Shinku. Uchiha Shisui. Hitaki Sakumo. Why do they sound exactly like a couple? Every time I drank too much, my wife would make me hangover soup, too. Uzumaki Kushina. Same here. I used to make hangover soup for Minato whenever he overdid it. Uchiha Makoto. Me too. Uzumaki Mito. Sigh. Unfortunately, Hashirama doesn't drink much, so I never got the chance to put my cooking skills to use. Senju Hashirama. Madara, why didn't you ever make me hangover soup? Uzumaki Mito. Hashirama. What the hell? Why are you asking a man to make you soup when your wife is literally right here? Uchiha Madara. Hashirama, you fucking idiot. Makoto Ito. Ha 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 ha. Honestly, I'd pay to see Grandpa Madara cooking. Just imagine it. Hyuga Hazashi. +1. Hitaki Sakumo. +2. Namikaze Minato. Ooh, I'm really looking forward to it. Just wondering, will Madara's cooking skills cause Lord First pain? Even so, my pain is greater than his. Might die. This is the power of youth. Namikaze Minato. Die, my pain is greater than yours. Might die. Youth. Namikaze Minato. Pain. Might die. Youth. Namikaze Minato. Pain. Uchiha Madara. Are these fucking idiots serious? Why are they always ranting about pain and youth? I thought Might Die was weird enough, but now Minato is rivaling him. Uchiha Izuna. No one from the Leaf Village is normal. Fortunately, I died before it was even established. Senju Tobarama. Pathetic. Are you seriously bragging about the fact that you died before Konoha was even founded? Uchiha Izuna. Shut up, Tobarama. Senju Tobarama. Fuck off, you damn Uchiha. Back in the real world, Makoto was in the middle of beating the crap out of Zabuza while ridiculous messages kept popping up in the chat. Finally, He couldn't help it and he burst out laughing. The conversation was getting weirder and way funnier by the second. Zabuza, on the other hand, was pissed after seeing his actions. Veins popped on his forehead as he gritted his teeth. This damn brat, is he seriously laughing at me? He was already getting pushed back, and now Makoto was smiling as if this entire fight was some kind of joke. Does he think I'm weak? Is that why he's laughing? Zabuza wanted to get back at Makoto, but there was nothing he could do. Every time he tried to counter, Makoto would shut him down, forcing him to retreat again and again. Before he realized it, he had been chased deep into the forest, away from Kakashi and the others. And that's when Makoto's grin disappeared. Without wasting another second, he slammed his hands together. Multiple shadow clone technique. Bang, 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 bang. A split second later, hundreds of Makoto's clones filled the forest, completely surrounding Zabuza. Zabuza's eyes widened upon seeing this scene. Shit. Before he could even react, Makoto's real body was already behind him. Rasengan. The second he heard the shout, every nerve in Zabuza's body screamed at him to move, but it was too late. He barely had time to turn and a massive swirling sphere of chakra slammed straight into his chest. Zabuza was blasted away, his body crashing through the air like a ragdoll. But before he could even process what happened, Makoto appeared right beside him, using the body flicker technique, gripping him by the neck. Just then, Zabuza saw Makoto's eyes turning red. At first, they were just 3 Tomo Sharingan, spinning wildly, and in the next moment, they shifted into a 6-pointed star. Zabuza's mind went blank. Sharingan. Wait, didn't the entire Uchiha clan get massacred? How the hell does this brat have Sharingan? Zabuza already knew that Kakashi possessed a Sharingan. That much was common knowledge. And after seeing the Uchiha crest on the back of Sasuke's shirt, he had assumed the kid was just a survivor. But now, even Makoto had the Sharingan. What the hell is going on here? Before he could think any further, Makoto's gaze sharpened and he didn't waste his time explaining. Koto Amatsukami. Zabuza's body froze. His vision blurred as a strange sensation flooded his mind. A moment later, his will was rewritten and now, there was only one command burned into his soul. It was to obey Makoto's orders. After a while, Makoto released his grip on Zabuza's neck. The moment he let go, Zabuza's body went flying, crashing through tree after tree before finally slamming into the base of a massive trunk. Unlike in the original story, Zabuza didn't fake his death and escape. Instead, he dropped to one knee, swaying unsteadily, his gaze filled with respect for Makoto. This was the terrifying power of Koto Amatsukami, something that was never fully shown in the original story. With it, altering a person's will was as effortless as flipping a switch and they wouldn't even realize it. Zabuza was completely drained after getting slammed by a Rasengan. Honestly, it was a miracle he hadn't blacked out yet. Just then, 3 Senbon needles shot out from the bushes. Makoto didn't even blink. With a swift motion, he unsheathed his sword and deflected them with ease. Zabuza struggled to push himself up but barely managed to slump against a nearby tree. Lord Makoto, please, have mercy, he's not an enemy, he is one of mine. Zabuza pleaded, his weak voice filled with urgency. His name is Haku. Makoto glanced toward the treetop where Haku was hiding. On the other hand, Haku was frozen in shock. What? Did I hear that right? Lord Makoto. His mind raced as he tried to make sense of what just happened. Why the hell is Zabuza speaking to this kid so respectfully? Did they know each other? What is going on? Seeing that Haku still hadn't shown himself, Zabuza called out toward the treetop. Haku, get down here. There's no need to hide. This is Lord Makoto. Hearing this, Haku forced himself to push past his confusion and leapt down from the tree. Makoto silently observed the masked figure with long hair, who could easily be mistaken for a woman at a first glance. Haku, on the other hand, wasted no time rushing to Zabuza's side. Zabuza, what the hell is going on? Zabuza met his gaze with a serious expression. Haku, this is Makoto, my leader. From now on, his orders are my orders. Got it? Haku looked at Makoto, then back to Zabuza. He looked completely lost. Makoto finally spoke, waving a hand dismissively. Let's drop the whole leader, or lord, thing. It sounds way too cultish. Just call me boss. Zabuza was still weak and leaned on Haku for support as he stood up. All right, boss. Then, after a pause, he let out a dry chuckle. But I gotta say, Boss, your strength is insane. You're so damn young, yet you've already left me in the dust. Haku's expression didn't change, but his eyes were filled with disbelief. What the hell did this kid do to Zabuza? Why is he calling him boss and obeying his words? Unable to hold back, Haku finally turned to Makoto and demanded, "What did you do to Zabuza?" As he spoke, his eyes sharpened, and his body tensed, preparing for a fight. Zabuza immediately grabbed his shoulder, stopping him in place. "Haku, don't be reckless. Listen to me." His grip tightened slightly. "The boss is, well, he is the son of my old boss. I've never told you about this before. Besides," Zabuza continued, "with the boss's strength, he could have killed me easily just now. If you still trust my judgment, then show some respect to the boss." Haku listened to his explanation carefully and was skeptical. So, he decided to question Zabuza later when Makoto wasn't around. After checking Zabuza over, Haku found nothing unusual. With no other choice, he followed Zabuza's lead. He turned to Makoto and gave a slight nod. "Boss, hello, I'm Haku." Makoto nodded back. "Good, you possess the rare ice release and will become quite strong in the future. From now on, you two should follow me. I'll take you back to Konoha." Zabuza asked with a hesitant smile. "But, boss, I'm a rogue ninja from the Hidden Mist. Won't that be a problem?" Makoto smiled and shook his head. "Get some rest first, and don't worry, my sensei is the Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi. I'll handle this matter when we return." Then, his tone grew firmer. "And more importantly, you're one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist, an elite Jonin. If you join Konoha, it only makes the village stronger. You don't need to worry about anything." Haku and Zabuza exchanged glances. For the first time in years, hope flickered in their eyes. Haku felt something warm well up in his chest. Could we really live peacefully from now on? Together, that would be amazing. Zabuza lowered his head in gratitude. "Thank you, boss." Haku followed his example, bowing slightly. "Thank you, boss." With that, Zabuza sat back down, letting Haku tend to his wounds. Meanwhile, Makoto leaned back slightly, gazing up at the sky in silence. Uchiha Izuna, Koto Amatsukami. Even though I already knew about it, seeing it in action is terrifying. It rewrites a person's will without them even realizing it. A damn elite Jonin just became your subordinate out of nowhere. Senju Hashirama. That's right. This kind of dojutsu is seriously scary. Uchiha Madara. Good thing you all have a decent relationship with Makoto. Otherwise, when he revives all of you in the future, he could just use Koto Amatsukami to control you. Well, except for me and Hashirama. Senju Tobarama. Makoto, you're really cunning. One use of Koto Amatsukami, and you secured one of the 7 ninja swordsmen along with a rare ice release user. Given time, both of them could easily reach cage level. Uchiha Madara. But, this guy called Haku. Is he really trustworthy? He's just Zabuza's subordinate. Makoto, aren't you worried about him stabbing you in the back? Makoto Ito. You don't understand the love between them. Uchiha Madara. Love? Uchiha Izuna. The hell do you mean by that? Hyuga Hazashi. This. That guy named Haku is clearly a man. He looks like a woman, but judging from his chakra flow, breathing, and even his meridians, he's obviously a guy. Makoto Ito. You guys really don't get it, huh? Grandpa Madara and Grandpa Hashirama. That's just bromance, maybe even a little gay. The same goes for Minato and Fugaku, Tobarama and Izuna, Tsukumo and Dai, and Hazashi with his brother. But Zabuza and Haku are different. That's real love, the kind where you'd give your life for the other person without hesitation. Senju Hashirama. But I would die for Madara. Uchiha Madara. Shut up, you damn idiot. Seeing Zabuza and Haku standing there, Makoto figured he should explain a few things, especially since he was bringing them into the village. And what better topic than the will of fire? Of course, this was his version. When the leaves start flying, the fire goes out of control. It spreads through the whole village and burns everything to the ground. If you wanna be part of Konoha, you have to learn the will of fire. If anyone ever asks why you joined, just say you were moved by my will of fire. Zabuza immediately nodded like a pecking chicken. Got it, boss. When the leaves start flying, the fire goes out of control. It spreads through the whole village and burns everything to the ground. Haku, on the other hand, had a weird expression. Is this really Konoha's will of fire? This sounds more like the will of arson. But since Zabuza didn't question it, he didn't either. As long as he could stay with Zabuza, he didn't care. With that settled, he quietly patched up Zabuza's wounds while Makoto continued preaching his will of fire. After some time, Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Tazuna finally arrived at the scene. And what they saw completely shocked them. Makoto was sitting on the ground, casually explaining his weird version of the will of fire to the enemy. Just moments ago, these guys were fighting to the death. But now, they were sitting together like old friends, talking about setting the village on fire. Kakashi, Sasuke, and Naruto immediately tensed up, sensing that something was off. "Oi, Makoto, what the hell is going on?" Kakashi asked, activating his Sharingan. Makoto stood up, dusted himself off, and casually walked toward them. "Kakashi-sensei, relax, no need to be so on edge." He waved a hand dismissively. "Zabuza and I weren't old buddies or anything. After I beat him up, I introduced him to my will of fire, and now he's decided to stop fighting us." Makoto's expression remained perfectly calm as he continued, "Actually, he even recognized me as his boss and respects my will of fire so much that he wants to follow me back to Konoha." He said all of this as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Everyone had a dumbfounded look on their faces after hearing his explanation. They all wondered if Makoto turned off his brain before speaking. Kakashi's eye twitched as he glanced Makoto up and down, making sure he hadn't taken a hit to the head. Unlike Kakashi, Naruto didn't waste time overthinking. He rushed over to Makoto and looked him up and down, checking for injuries. "Makoto, what the hell happened? Who's this shirtless old man? And whoa, who's this beautiful lady?" Makoto introduced Zabuza and Haku to the group. While they already knew about Zabuza, they were clueless about Haku. Zabuza explained that he was originally hired by Gato to tear down the bridge and stop its construction. But after hearing Makoto's will of fire, he had a change of heart. Instead of destroying the bridge, he was now determined to help them finish it and protect the land of waves. Kakashi sighed, struggling to process everything. He had no idea how Makoto pulled this off, but at this point, he decided to just roll with it. Naruto, on the other hand, was still full of curiosity. He glanced back and forth between Zabuza and Haku before grinning. "Wow, sister, you're so pretty." "Wait." His eyes flicked over to Zabuza. "Is this shirtless guy your boyfriend?" Upon hearing his words, Haku blinked, then shyly glanced over at Zabuza. Zabuza's face twitched, and he immediately corrected him, "He is not a girl. He is a boy." Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura all stared at them with shocked expressions, their brains refusing to believe what they had just heard. Senju Hashirama, "Ha ha ha ha, look at these three brats. They're completely lost." Senju Tobarama, "It's understandable. Haku's appearance is seriously misleading. If I didn't know better, I'd also think he was a girl." Back in the real world, Kakashi sat down next to Zabuza, rubbing his temple in exhaustion. "How the hell did you of all people?" Zabuza cut him off with a wave of his hand. "What? A guy like me can't change. Listen up, Kakashi. When the leaves start flying, the fire goes out of control. It spreads through the whole village and burns everything to the ground. Makoto is my boss. If you don't believe me, fine. Monitor me all you want, I don't care." Kakashi let out a long, tired sigh. "What the hell is happening? How am I supposed to explain this to the Hokage?" Kakashi knew there was no way to explain this without sounding ridiculous. Telling the Hokage that Zabuza suddenly had a change of heart after listening to Makoto's will of fire and was now devoted to him, would make no sense. Instead of trying to figure it out, he decided to leave it to Makoto. As the Hokage's student, he could handle the explanation. After treating Zabuza's injuries, the group continued toward Tazuna's house. But this time, they had two extra members, Zabuza and Haku. Makoto's interference had changed the course of events once again. Kakashi wasn't running low on chakra, Naruto wasn't injured and the rematch with Zabuza was never going to happen. Instead of dying, Zabuza and Haku had joined Makoto's side. Zabuza, in particular, had taken on the role of his bodyguard, sticking close to him the entire way. But now, Makoto's problem wasn't Zabuza, it was Naruto. Ever since witnessing Makoto's fight, Naruto had been relentlessly pestering him along the way. He tried begging, complimenting, even whining just to get Makoto to teach him those badass techniques. Compared to Makoto, Naruto's arsenal was pretty pathetic. He only had the multi-shadow clone jutsu, the sexy jutsu, and the harem jutsu which he had picked up from Makoto himself. He wouldn't stop nagging until Makoto agreed to train him. "Oi, Makoto, teach me already," Naruto whined, practically bouncing on his feet. "I wanna learn those badass techniques too." His fists clenched as he huffed. "Every time I fight, all I got is my stupid shadow clones. But you're spamming jutsus left and right like it's nothing. Fire, wind, lightning, water and earth, you got everything." Naruto grabbed Makoto's shoulders and shook him dramatically. "Come on, man, just teach me a few. Please." When Makoto didn't answer right away, he clutched his chest like he'd been stabbed. "Makoto, aren't we best friends?" Naruto kept bouncing around Makoto like an excited kid, practically begging him to teach those powerful techniques. Sasuke, of course, had the same thoughts, but he wasn't that desperate. He wouldn't lower himself to begging. But that didn't mean he wasn't paying attention. Every now and then, he glanced at Makoto and Naruto. Damn it, since joining Team 7, Kakashi had barely taught them anything. All they'd done were pointless D-rank missions and not a single thing that actually made them stronger. After seeing Makoto fight against Zabuza while throwing around high-level techniques, Sasuke felt powerless. He already knew he wasn't at a Jonin's level, not to mention Zabuza, an elite Jonin, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. If I fought him right now, I wouldn't stand a chance. Damn it, I refuse to fall behind. Makoto, if you are destined to reach the top of the world, then I have to be there too. I won't allow myself to be left in the dust. And more than anything, I still have to kill that man. I am the last remaining member of the Uchiha clan, and I must become stronger. I have no other choice. Makoto sighed, rubbing his temples as he looked at Naruto. When we took the scroll of seals, I told you to memorize both the multi-shadow clone jutsu and Rasengan, right? You already mastered the multi-shadow clone technique, but what about Rasengan? Made any progress? At those words, Naruto scratched the back of his head, looking embarrassed. Well, that technique is really hard. I mean, I memorized the steps, but no matter how much I trained after that, I just can't get it to work. Makoto let out another sigh and shook his head. Alright, once we get to our destination, I'll teach you properly. Seriously, that's awesome, Makoto, you're the best. Naruto cheered, practically bouncing with excitement. Sasuke hesitated for a moment as he listened to Makoto and Naruto talk. Makoto glanced at him with a smirk. If you want to learn, just say so. I don't mind teaching you, he said casually. But honestly, Sasuke, your real path to power is through your Sharingan. I'll see if I can figure out a way to help you awaken the 3-Tomo Sharingan. Sasuke scoffed and turned his head to the side, crossing his arms. HMPH, I don't need your help to awaken my 3-Tomo Sharingan, he said, acting as if the very idea offended him. But, since you're so insistent on helping me, I guess I'll reluctantly agree. He closed his eyes and nodded, as if making a great concession. I mean, if I didn't agree, it'd be kind of disrespectful to you, right? But don't get the wrong idea. It's not like I want to learn from you or anything. I'm just doing this to give you some face. Makoto couldn't help but laugh after hearing his words. Yeah, whatever you say. Kakashi had been listening to the conversation between Makoto and the others. The moment he heard Makoto mention teaching Naruto Rasengan, his eyes widened slightly. Rasengan, hearing that name immediately brought back memories of his teacher, the 4th Hokage, Minato. Rasengan was one of Minato's signature jutsu, a technique that embodied his incredible skill and mastery over chakra control. And now, Naruto was going to learn it. That might not be a bad thing. Neither Naruto nor the others had realized that Naruto wasn't actually bad at learning ninjutsu. The problem was the 9 tails. Kurama's chakra constantly interfered with Naruto's chakra, throwing everything off balance. This was the real reason he struggled to learn ninjutsu properly. By all logic, Naruto should be a terrifying genius. His father was Minato, the 4th Hokage, and his mother, Kushina, came from a clan known for their monstrous chakra and sealing abilities. There was no way Naruto could have inherited nothing from them. If Naruto could develop a good relationship with the 9 tails early on, his road to power would be 100 times smoother. And then there was Sasuke. How do I get him to awaken his 3-Tomo Sharingan sooner? Makoto remembered how Sasuke awakened his 2-Tomo Sharingan. Maybe I can work with that. With his current level of spiritual power, maybe he could use Genjutsu to hit Sasuke with a serious emotional shock, one strong enough to force his 3 Tomo Sharingan to awaken. Makoto Ito. Everyone, Naruto and Sasuke want to get stronger as fast as possible. Does anyone have any good ideas? To be honest, Naruto's talent isn't actually bad. The real issue is the Nine Tails chakra constantly interfering with him, messing up his control and making it impossible for him to learn ninjutsu properly. Is there any way to help him build a good relationship with Kurama? We have 2 Jinchuriki here. Maybe one of you has some advice. As for Sasuke, he's easier to handle. I can probably use Genjutsu to give him a strong enough emotional shock to awaken his 3 Tomo Sharingan. But when it comes to Naruto, I've got no clue. I had never dealt with a tailed beast before. Madara Uchiha. Using Genjutsu to trigger someone's spiritual power is actually a solid idea. Why didn't I think of that before? With your current mental strength, you might actually pull it off. As for the 9 Tails, there's no need to waste time making friends with that thing. Did you forget? You have Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Just close your eyes, open them again, and that fox will drop like a mutt. Hashirama Senju. He's not wrong. Or, better yet, you could just summon a wood golem, grab the 9 Tails with one hand, and give it a little pat on the head. That should put it to sleep in no time. Makoto Ito. Can you 2 stop flexing for a second? Do you seriously think Naruto can pull off any of that? Sure, he'll be strong one day, but right now, he's just a genin. Hashirama Senju. Fair point. In that case, I don't really have much advice to offer. Madara Uchiha. TCH. Then just use Sharingan to control the damn fox. One glance. That's all it takes. Makoto Ito. I should have known better than to ask you too. Grandma Mito. Aunt Kushina. You were both Jinchuriki. You got any good advice? Uzumaki Kushina. Honestly, I don't have any either. My relationship with that annoying fox wasn't exactly friendly. He only ever shut up when I had him tied up and gave him a good beating. Uzumaki Mito. Same here. Every time the 9 Tails acted up, I'd just smack him. In fact, I was the one who taught Kushina that trick. It works like a charm. Makoto Ito. Sigh, but that's not exactly helpful for Naruto. He might have Uzumaki blood, but he doesn't know any sealing techniques or how to use adamantine sealing chains. How's he supposed to keep the 9 Tails under control? Namikaze Minato. Actually, Makoto, I might have an idea that could help. Makoto Ito. I knew I could count on you, Uncle Minato. Senju Tobarama. Oh, Minato, you have a solution. Namikaze Minato. As you all know, before I died, I split the 9 Tails in half, Yin 9 Tails and Yang 9 Tails. I sealed the Yang half inside Naruto and the Yin half inside myself. Now, here's the thing. The chat group lets us share our own stuff with Makoto without actually losing it, whether it's chakra, ninjutsu, whatever. It's like a copy-paste function. So I've been wondering, could I just give the Yin 9 Tails to Makoto? If the group really duplicates things, then my Yin 9 Tails would still be with me, and Makoto would get a whole extra one. The reason I didn't bring it up before was that the 9 Tails is incredibly powerful. If Makoto couldn't control it, we'd have a huge problem on our hands. But now, it's not really a concern anymore. Senju Tobarama. Minato, I get what you're saying, and I'm really curious to see if we can duplicate a tailed beast. But, how exactly is this supposed to help your son subdue the 9 Tails? Namikaze Minato. The 9 Tails chakra is unique. If Makoto has it too, he can use that connection to enter Naruto's sealed space. In other words, as long as Makoto can control his half of the 9 Tails, he should be able to help Naruto. Senju Tobarama. I see now. This is getting interesting. I really want to see if we can actually copy a tailed beast. Namikaze Minato. In theory, it should work. Senju Hashirama. So let me get this straight. Naruto has a 9 Tails, Minato has a 9 Tails, and now Makoto's gonna have a 9 Tails. That means there'll be 3 9 Tails running around. If that's the case, next time I play with the fox, I'll need to pat 3 times. Uchiha Madara. Then I'll have to blink 3 times to put them under Genjutsu. Namikaze Minato. Senju Tobarama. Elder brother, just shut up. Uchiha Izuna. Brother, can you stop showing off for once? You're starting to sound more and more like Hashirama. Ito Makoto. Grandpas, I get it. You couple are amazing, but from now on, Please stay out of serious discussions. Senju Hashirama. What do you mean by couples? Don't call us a couple. That's so embarrassing. Uchiha Madara. Damn it, Hashirama. Why are you getting flustered? We're not a couple. No. Senju Tobarama. Ahem. Minato, if Makoto has the Yin Nine Tails in his body, and he takes some Yang Nine Tails chakra from Naruto, wouldn't that technically create a whole new Nine Tails? What do you think? Namikaze Minato. I have no idea. The tailed beasts are way too mysterious for me to say for sure. Senju Tobarama. Sister-in-law. Do you think the scenario I mentioned could actually happen? Uchiha Madara. TCH. That idiot Hashirama is getting on my nerves again. Anyway, what's your plan? Senju Tobarama. Uzumaki Mito. Senju Tobarama. Madara, I wasn't talking to you. I said sister-in-law. Are you my sister-in-law? Uzumaki Mito. I don't even have the energy to argue anymore. Uchiha Madara. I didn't read the message carefully and just replied, okay. You could have figured that out from what I said. Stop overthinking it. Senju Tobarama. Yeah, whatever. So next time I ask my sister-in-law a question, you stay out of it, alright? My second sister-in-law. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Maybe I should just call you sister-in-law from now on. Uchiha Madara. Get lost. Who the hell is your sister-in-law? Uzumaki Mito. Sigh. Anyway, I'm not sure if it will actually work. No one's ever split the Nine Tails before, so we have no real precedent for this. But it's worth a shot. If it works, great. If not, no harm done. Namikaze Minato. Alright then, let's give it a shot. Senju Tobarama. If this actually works, Makoto is going to be an absolute monster in the future. He's got Senju blood, my techniques, the Sharingan, and now possibly a tailed beast. I almost feel bad for anyone who picks a fight with him. Even if he only uses 1% of his power, the so-called cages will be nothing but punching bags. Uchiha Madara. Makoto, you should consider extracting chakra from the other tailed beasts as well. You don't need the full thing, just a fragment of their chakra should be enough. With that, you might even be able to create a weakened version of the 10 tails. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin 9 Tails to group leader Makoto Ito. Namikaze Minato. Everyone, it actually worked. The Yin 9 Tails inside me is still there, and the chat group confirms that the transfer was successful. This means we can replicate anything. Even tailed beasts aren't an exception. Back in the real world, Makoto's eyes widened in shock as he saw the notification pop up. He hadn't expected the chat group to be this powerful. Creating the 9 tails out of thin air was absolutely insane. There were only supposed to be 9-tailed beasts in the entire world. The fact that Minato had managed to split the 9 tails in half was already a legendary feat, but now the chat group had just duplicated it effortlessly. Does this 9 tails even have its original memories? Makoto couldn't help but feel a mix of curiosity and excitement. After all, the 9 tails was badass. Who wouldn't want an overpowered pet that could fight? Kakashi-sensei, you go ahead first. Makoto suddenly blurted. Without waiting for a response, he turned and vanished using the body flicker technique. He needed to claim the 9 tails immediately. If the beast appeared uncontrollably, it could injure Naruto or Sasuke. He had more than enough strength to suppress it, but there was no need to take unnecessary risks. Zabuza and Haku exchanged glances before following closely behind him. Kakashi, meanwhile, just stood there, confused. Deep in the forest, Makoto landed swiftly and turned to the 2 ninjas behind him. Zabuza, Haku, stay on guard, he ordered. Got it, boss. They responded without hesitation. Taking a deep breath, Makoto clicked the accept button. The moment he did, a massive surge of chakra appeared within his body. It was different from anything he had ever felt before. Yet, to his surprise, there was no resistance, no wild surge of power, no chaotic outburst like he had expected from the 9 tails. Everything was calm. The chakra spread through his body before slowly gathering in front of him, taking shape. A few moments later, a chibi version of the 9 tails stood before him. What the hell is this? Makoto stared at the tiny, cute creature in disbelief. The little fox stretched its body lazily before looking up at him. Hello, master. I am Kurama. Please take care of me from now on. The voice is exactly the same as the original Kurama, but why does mine look so damn cute? Makoto's brain struggled to process what he was seeing. Why the hell are you calling me master? The chibi Kurama wagged its tiny 9 tails and blinked at him. I just know that you're my master. I have all of the original 9 tails memories and chakra, but I'm not him. I only exist because of you, master. So it makes sense that I should obey you, right? Makoto hesitantly reached out and picked up the tiny fox. Kurama let out a satisfied sigh, curling up in his arms like a content kitten. Single quote. Something is definitely wrong here. Isn't the 9 tails supposed to be a tsundere, arrogant monster? Why is my version acting like a pet? Is this because of the chat group? Since this isn't the original 9 tails but a copy taken from Minato's body, does that mean it is programmed to completely obey me? As he thought about it, Makoto gently placed the little 9 tails back on the ground. Sit. Without hesitation, Kurama plopped down obediently. Shake. The tiny fox raised one of its small paws and gently placed it in Makoto's hand. Makoto blinked his eyes in surprise. What the hell? Senju Tobarama. Holy shit. Since when were the 9 tails this obedient? Namikaze Minato. The half of the 9 tails inside me is still as loud and stubborn as ever. How is the personality difference this extreme? I was prepared for Makoto to beat some obedience into him if necessary. Uchiha Madara. This thing looks more like a pet than a tailed beast. Uzumaki Kushina. Why wasn't my 9 tails this well behaved? This is so unfair. Senju Hashirama. It's strong, cute, and listens to you. I want one too. Uchiha Madara. Are you insane? There are only supposed to be 9-tailed beasts in the world. Now, thanks to this chat group, we've somehow added an extra 9 tails out of nowhere. Isn't that already ridiculous enough? Senju Tobarama. Wait, Madara, what did you just say? Uchiha Madara. I said Hashirama is asking for too much. What about it? Senju Tobarama. No, not that part. The sentence after that, Uchiha Madara. I said there are only 9-tailed beasts in the world. What's the big deal? Senju Tobarama. The next one. Uchiha Madara. What the hell is wrong with you? The next thing I said was that, because of the chat group, we have an extra 9 tails, which is already insane. TCH. Damn you, Tobarama, what are you getting at? Stop dragging this out and just spit it out already. Senju Tobarama. That's right. The chat group. Because of the chat group, we now have an extra 9 tails. Uchiha Madara. Are you brain damaged? We all saw that already. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Senju Tobarama. Because we still don't know how the chat group actually works. We have no idea what kind of power this is or where it comes from. But what we do know is that this 9 tails is real. And more importantly, we can donate our own things to Makoto. Minato just gave Makoto half of the 9 tails from his body, yet, the original still exists inside him. Do you realize what that means? Uchiha Madara. TCH. What's your point? Stop wasting time and just say it already. Namikaze Minato. Wait, I think I get what Lord Second is trying to say. Closing square bracket. Senju Tobarama. You do. Namikaze Minato. Yeah, but I'm not entirely sure if it will work. Closing square bracket. Makoto Ito. Oi, what the hell are you two talking about? Stop being so mysterious. Uchiha Madara. Agreed, you two sound like lunatics, talking in riddles. Senju Hashirama. Tobarama. Enough stalling, just tell us already. Senju Tobarama. Alright, Minato, let's break this down step by step. Namikaze Minato. Got it, Lord Second. Senju Tobarama. We all know that we can give our abilities or items to Makoto, yet we don't lose them ourselves. Namikaze Minato. In other words, the chat group's function is basically copy and paste. We've already seen proof of this when we gave Makoto our techniques, we still had them. Senju Tobarama. But here's the key difference. Tailed beasts aren't ninjutsu. No one has ever tried giving one away before. This was the first time and the chat group actually created a brand new 9 tails. Namikaze Minato. Meaning, if I keep gifting the half of the 9 tails inside me to Makoto, will more new 9 tails keep appearing? Senju Tobarama. More importantly, this one is loyal, well-behaved, and ridiculously adorable. Namikaze Minato. If our guess is right, then we could create infinite 9 tails. At that point, everyone can have their own 9 tails. Senju Tobarama. Do you all realize why I was so shocked now? Uchiha Madara. Holy shit. Uchiha Izuna. Damn. Closing square bracket. Hyuga Hazashi. Fucking hell. Hitaki Tsukumo. Can something like this actually work? Senju Hashirama. So you're telling me, I can have a whole collection of adorable little Ninetales as pets? Yuhi Shinku. Forget pets. We can create a Ninetales army. Makoto Ito. Wait, can we really pull this off? Might die. I have no idea what's going on. But I just wanna say. This is youth. Senju Tobarama. Minato. Let's test it. Now. Namikaze Minato. Understood. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Makoto's hands trembled as he clicked accept. He didn't know if this crazy idea would actually work, but if it did, everyone could have their own Ninetales. The moment he accepted Minato's gift, an overwhelming chakra surged through his body once again. And just like before, that chakra slowly gathered, condensing into a brand new Chibi Kurama. Uchiha Madara. Holy shit, it actually worked. Senju Tobarama. This is insane. We can mass produce a tailed beast with this method. Senju Hashirama. Quick. Minato, send more. I want one to raise as a pet. Namikaze Minato. Got it. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Group member Namikaze Minato has gifted Yin Ninetales to group leader Makoto Ito. Opening square bracket closing square bracket. Opening square bracket closing square bracket. Opening square bracket closing square bracket. The screen was flooded with notifications as Minato rapid-fired Ninetales gifts. Makoto, meanwhile, was clicking accept as fast as possible. What if this is a bug? If the chat group patches it, wouldn't that mean I lose the chance to get more Ninetales? So while I can still farm them, I'm gonna stock up as many as possible. In just a few moments, a ridiculous number of little Ninetales surrounded Makoto. A quick glance told him there were at least multiple dozens of them. The group members stared in shock, unable to believe what they were witnessing. They were mass-producing the tailed beast, the strongest war weapon in the world, a terrifying force that was supposed to be one of a kind. Ding! A new message from the chat group appeared. Bug detected. Fixing. Ding! As of this update, tailed beasts can no longer be gifted without limit in the chat group. However, Ninetales that have already been created will not be taken back. The moment the message appeared, Minato realized he could no longer send any more Ninetales. Senju Tobarama. Phew, good thing the ones Minato already gifted weren't taken away. We basically got dozens of obedient Ninetales for free. Namikaze Minato. I tried again, but I really can't send any more. Looks like it's officially patched. Senju Hashirama. Sigh, if only we had a few more minutes. Closing square bracket. Uchiha Madara. For what? Do you still want more? Look at Makoto, he's already drowning in Ninetales. Even if we each took one, there would still be plenty left. Back in the real world, Makoto was still in shock after seeing the chat group message. But right now, he didn't have time to think about that because he was completely buried in chibi Ninetales. They were on his head, shoulders, and arms, clinging to his hands and legs, swarming around him like a fluffy, orange army. Unlike the original Ninetales, these ones weren't arrogant or aggressive. They were adorable, obedient, and ridiculously clingy. More importantly, every single one of them looked exactly the same. Master, I am Kurama. Master, I am Kurama. I'm the real Kurama. I'm real, you're fake. I am the real one, you are the fake one. Get off and move. The spot on the master's shoulder belongs to me. I've already taken over the top of his head. You're not allowed up here. Just because you look like me doesn't mean I won't boop you off. You wanna fight, you think you're tough. We're all Ninetales here, who's afraid of who? Get off, this is my spot. Shut up and move, you fake Ninetales. I'm the real one, you're fake. You're in my territory, move it, or I'll pounce on you. Try it then, who's scared? What the fluff are you looking at? You wanna fight too? Let's settle this one-on-one. Do you really think I, Kurama, am gonna back down? It's a one-on-one duel. I am Kurama. No, I am Kurama. And I demand cuddles first. Whoever wins gets belly rubs from Master. Deal. But first, I'm calling dibs on the tail fluffing privileges. Absolutely not. My tail is the fluffiest, and only Master can touch it. Oh yeah, then why is your tail half a centimeter shorter than mine? What? You take that back right now. Make me, Fluffball. Master, tell him my tail is the fluffiest. I groom it every day. Master, don't listen to him. Mine is superior. Stop arguing, you tail-obsessed fuzzballs. I get to sit in Master's lap. No way, that's prime napping territory. Then let's settle this. Winner gets lap privileges. Fine, but if I win, I get the first goodnight headpat. Deal. Loser sleeps at Master's feet. Wait, that's still a win. Makoto felt like 10,000 bees were buzzing around him as the mini Nine Tails were now fighting amongst themselves, having started a full-blown turf war over Makoto's body. If you scratch me, I'll scratch you back. Take this, one tail claw attack. Right back at you, two tail slap. Get off my tail, you fake. With no other choice, he used the 4-symbol seal and created a sealed space inside his body. But unlike Naruto's sealed space, which was a gloomy, sewer-smelling cage, Makoto's was completely different. Inside, it was bright and sunny, with waterfalls, grasslands, forests, and valleys, a landscape so stunning it looked like a hidden paradise. Without hesitation, Makoto grabbed all the mini Nine Tails clinging to him and threw them into the sealed space. Alright, you little troublemakers, stay in there and behave yourselves. He dusted off his hands and sighed. I'll figure out a way to get each of you a new home soon, somehow. After entering the sealed space, the little Nine Tails scattered like excited children, running around and exploring their new home. Some remained in their mini form, while others had enlarged themselves. Makoto couldn't help but chuckle at the scene. If the Akatsuki ever comes for the Nine Tails and suddenly sees an army of them instead, they might just start questioning their entire lives. They'd probably turn around and run for their lives. Even Shukaku would have a hard time running his mouth if he saw this scene. He loved to pick fights with Kurama, always acting tough. But if he started barking again, Makoto could just release dozens of Kuramas at once. Shukaku would definitely freak out on the spot. Makoto looked at the swarm of little Nine Tails in his sealed space and started planning. The chat group bosses could each have one. His future wives, of course, would get one each. Girls definitely couldn't resist something this cute. After that, there were his friend, the Konoha 12. Each of them could have one too. Even after dividing them up like that, he'd still have plenty left. There really are a lot of them. Minato had been way too fast when gifting them earlier. The chat group had already reclaimed the ones Makoto didn't accept in time. If I had clicked faster, I could have doubled my stockpile. He had to admit, Minato's speed was terrifying. He really lived up to his Yellow Flash title. With everything sorted, Makoto left his Kurama army inside his sealed space and turned his attention back to the real world. He waved over Zabuza and Haku, who had been keeping watch from a distance. Meanwhile, deep within Naruto's sealed space, Kurama suddenly snapped awake from his sleep. His massive eyes flickered open as he sensed something deeply wrong. Wait, this is my chakra. Why are there so many of them? His ears twitched. The presence he was sensing wasn't just from his other half. No, it wasn't just one. It wasn't even two. There were dozens. What the hell happened? Did my other half get split into tiny pieces? The fox slammed his claws against the bars of his cage. Damn Minato and Kushina. They sealed me inside this stupid brat, and now this. What's going on outside? When I get out of here, I'm wiping out this whole damn village. Despite his rage, Naruto was completely oblivious as he kept walking. Sasuke and Sakura didn't notice a thing either. But Kakashi definitely felt something in the distance. A massive chakra fluctuation had just erupted from where Makoto had been. His single eye narrowed as he glanced in that direction. What the hell is that kid up to now? What the hell is Makoto doing over there? That's a ridiculous amount of chakra. Does he have to release chakra just to take a piss? Or is he constipated or something? Kakashi wondered, sensing the absurdly strong chakra from the direction Makoto had gone. At first, he assumed Makoto had just gone for a bathroom break, but now, he really wasn't sure what was going on. Just as Kakashi was still trying to figure it out, Makoto finally returned with Zabuza and Haku following behind him. Naruto immediately ran over, frowning in confusion. Makoto, what took you so long in the bathroom? Were you constipated or something? That never happens to me. I've got a perfect digestive system. Makoto shot him a knowing smile. Oh, I know, and you should really be thanking Kakashi for that. His 1,000 years of death must have done wonders. With Makoto back, the group continued their journey to Tezuna's house, chatting along the way. As for Tezuna's bratty grandson, Makoto had no intention of dealing with him. The kid was just a whiny little punk who didn't know any better. Besides, he, Zabuza, and Haku had more important things to do, like paying Gato a visit. At this moment, Gato was still seated in his chair, his short frame barely making him look imposing. When he saw Zabuza and Haku walk in, he didn't even bother glancing at them. So, did you complete the job? Gato asked impatiently. Did you kill that damn bridge builder, Tezuna? I paid you a lot of money. If you failed, then you're nothing but a bunch of losers, huh? His voice dripped with arrogance as he sneered. And what's with the kid? I hired you to kill people, not to start a daycare. Makoto stood at the entrance, casually observing Gato. The guy was barely 1.5 meters tall, dressed in a small suit with dark sunglasses, trying his best to look like a big shot. But what truly baffled Makoto was, where did this guy even find the nerve to speak like that? And not just to any ninja but to Zabuza, a man whose very name sent shivers down spines. The infamous demon of the hidden mist, a cold-blooded executioner who had once butchered an entire squad without so much as flinching. Yet here was Gato, an ordinary businessman with zero combat ability, talking down to him like he was some hired thug. Makoto had always found this world strange. Ninjas had power that completely outclassed ordinary people, yet somehow, they were still controlled by weaklings like Gato. It just didn't make sense. Zabuza, however, wasn't in the mood for Gato's nonsense. Without a word, he slowly reached behind him and pulled out his executioner's blade. Makoto had already returned it to him earlier. He had no use for it anyway, since he preferred the sword of the Thunder God. Plus, Zabuza was now his underling. If he was going to fight at full strength, he needed his weapon. Gato, watch your mouth when talking to my boss. Zabuza growled, his grip tightening on the blade. Or else, I won't mind sending you to hell. Gato, still lounging in his chair, blinked in disbelief, like he hadn't heard Zabuza correctly. What the hell did you just say? Say that again. His voice rose in anger. Is that how you talk to me? Hand over every single ryo I paid you. What kind of demon are you supposed to be, huh? You're just a washed-up thug. And now you're calling some brat your boss. That's just pathetic. As soon as Gato finished his rant, the doors to the hideout slammed open, and a large group of samurai flooded the room, surrounding Makoto, Zabuza, and Haku. Though, these so-called samurai were nothing but a bunch of hired goons and mercenaries at best. Uchiha Madara, honestly, I don't get it. Where does this little punk get his confidence? He thinks he can take on ninjas with a bunch of samurai. That's just plain stupidity. Senju Tobarama agreed. Uchiha Izuna, yeah, this guy's got some serious nerve. Namikaze Minato, Makoto, enough talk, time to teach him what real pain feels like. Makoto chuckled as he stepped forward, eyes locked onto Gato. So, you're Gato. I've heard you're not exactly a good person. Gato sneered. You little brat, are you looking to die? He slammed his fist on the armrest of his chair. How dare you talk to me like that? Drag him here. At his command, his mercenaries roared and charged forward. Zabuza and Haku moved instantly. Zabuza's executioner's blade swung through the air, and heads dropped one after another. Each strike was clean, brutal, and efficient, just as expected from the demon of the hidden mist. Haku, on the other hand, was far more elegant. Every enemy that came his way was frozen solid, their bodies encased in ice before they could even lift their weapons. Meanwhile, Makoto strolled toward Gato with a casual smile. Tell me, should I call you ignorant or just plain fearless? As a knowledgeable businessman, you should understand what ninjas are capable of, and yet, here you are, provoking one. So, tell me, does that make you smart or just an idiot? He took another step closer, his gaze sharpening. I also heard you're very rich. What a coincidence. I happen to be short on cash right now. His smirk widened. So, why don't you be a smart businessman and tell me where you keep all your money? Gato's face twisted as he watched his men fall like flies against Zabuza and Haku. Panic flickered in his eyes, but he still forced himself to act tough. Why you brat, I don't care who you are, but you'd better learn some respect. He puffed up his chest, trying to sound imposing. Do you even realize who you're messing with? If you offend me, you'll be hunted down for the rest of your life. You'll face endless pursuit, so I'll give you one last chance. Kneel before me right now, and maybe, just maybe, I'll be merciful enough to let you live. Makoto's smile didn't waver as he watched Gato continue his arrogant rant. Then, in a single, fluid motion, his sword flashed through the air and Gato's arm went flying. Ah! A blood-curdling scream filled the room as Gato clutched his bleeding stump, his face twisted in pure agony. Makoto casually flicked the blood off his blade, his voice calm. You know, if you were actually a decent person, I wouldn't have bothered with you. But you're not, so no matter what I do to you, I won't be losing any sleep over it. He took a slow step forward, his eyes cold. I asked you a question earlier, and I'll ask it again. Where do you keep your money? Gato whimpered, his face drenched in sweat. Makoto's smirk widened. Let me put it this way. You have 2 arms and 2 legs. That gives you 4 chances to answer me. He tilted his head mockingly. You've already wasted one. His sword gleamed under the light as he lifted it slightly. If your next answer still doesn't satisfy me, should I take your other arm? Or maybe, one of your legs? His smile stretched into something dangerously cruel. Choose wisely, Gato. Uchiha Madara. Gato is the bad guy here, but why does Makoto look more like the villain? Uchiha Izuna. That laugh, it sounded way too evil. Senju Hashirama. Exactly, I was ready to cheer him on, but now it feels like Makoto's the real bad guy here. Hyuga Hazashi. I mean, if this chat group hadn't shown up, wouldn't Master Madara have been the biggest villain in history? Uchiha Madara. Senju Hashirama. Hey, Madara wasn't a villain, he was just tricked by that sneaky bastard, Black Zetsu. Senju Tobarama. Never mind all that. What I really want to know is, how much money does this Gato guy have? If he's such a big-time businessman, he must be loaded, right? Namikaze Minato. Good job, Makoto. That's how you do it. Make him feel true pain. Uchiha Madara. Kushina, why don't you come over here and shut him up? If you don't beat him down, he's never going to stop. Senju Tobarama. Yeah, something feels off. Like we're missing something important. Closing square bracket. Hyuga Hazashi. Right, if Minato doesn't scream in agony at least once, this chat just doesn't feel complete. Hitaki Sakumo. Agreed. Yuhi Shinku. +1. Uzumaki Kushina. Sigh, fine. If you all insist, Minato, come here. Namikaze Minato. Wait, Kushina, let's talk about this. You traitors. My pain is greater than yours. Back in the real world, Gato was utterly terrified. He had never expected Makoto to completely ignore his status and cut off his arm without a second thought. Damn it, Gato shrieked, clutching his bleeding stump. You're a leaf ninja, right? Just you wait, I'll go straight to Konoha and make them give me justice. Just wait, you little brat. Makoto sighed. Wrong answer. In the blink of an eye, Makoto's sword flashed again and Gato's other arm hit the floor. My arm. Makoto looked at him, unimpressed. I already told you, I wasn't satisfied with your last answer, he said calmly. You had 4 chances, and you just wasted 2 of them. Do you really not value your arms and legs? He took a step closer, his blade still dripping with blood. You only have 2 chances left. So tell me, where is your money? If you don't answer properly this time. Makoto's smile turned sharp. I'll have to start taking your legs. Any trace of Gato's former arrogance vanished. His face was pale, drenched in sweat, and his entire body trembled. And no, don't do it, Gato wailed, shaking his head frantically. I'll give you money. 10 million ryo. How about 10 million ryo? Just let me go. Makoto scoffed, shaking his head as he stared down at the trembling, bloodied Gato. Is your life really only worth 10 million? Do you not value your own life at all? He let the question linger, watching Gato's panicked, sweat-drenched face. What's the point of hoarding all that money if you're just going to die here and now? Before Gato could respond, Makoto's blade flashed again, and this time, one of Gato's legs was severed. Gato's screams echoed through the room as he collapsed to the ground, writhing in agony. Blood pooled beneath him as his body trembled violently. Makoto crouched down beside him, his voice eerily calm. Now you're down to one leg. This is your last chance. He tapped his sword against his shoulder. So, where's the money? Speak fast, and if you hurry, you can still find a medical ninja to reattach your limbs. If you wait too long, though, he tilted his head, well, you know how that ends. Gato gasped for breath, his entire face pale from blood loss. His previous arrogance was completely gone. I'll tell you right now. He blurted out, eyes wide with desperation. There's a secret passage in my bedroom. Open it, and you'll find a basement underneath. That's where I hide all my money. His words tumbled out rapidly. I don't know exactly how much is in there, but it's definitely not less than 1 billion ryo. Sweat dripped down his face as he kept talking. That's all the cash I have. As for my other assets, they're in real estate and investments. But I have to be there in person to transfer ownership. Makoto listened carefully. Then, without hesitation, he ended Gato's life with a single, clean strike. There was no need to let him live. If Gato had been a decent person, Makoto wouldn't have come looking for him in the first place. But he wasn't. He was a parasite, a greedy businessman who preyed on the weak, exploiting entire villages for his own gain. Makoto felt no guilt whatsoever. And by killing Gato, he had just rid the land of waves of one of its biggest scourges. For more thrilling fanfiction stories like this, check out my channel Fanfic audiobook. Dive into epic adventures, mysterious realms, and legendary journeys brought to life through immersive storytelling. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing audiobooks.